Between 1954 and the mid-1980s, the intersection of Moreland Road and Syndey Road in Brunswick was probably my most frequently visited place, whether it was going to kindergarten or primary school, or cycling on my bike to Northcote High School, or driving my car to university. I always somehow ended up going through that intersection. I once worked it out mathematically that I probably have been to that intersection 26,000 times. Because my recollection goes back to the 1950s, I thought I'd put my memories on YouTube, because Brunswick is quite trendy and fashionable now, and people are interested in its heritage. I remember particularly one of the boarding houses or rooming houses that my parents and I lived in the days when, migrants off the boat would rent a single room. You'd have a boarding house with a whole lot of rooms and a family in each room. And my mother once told me that in our first 21 months in Australia we had 7 such accommodations. And there was one, a big double-storey terrace in Moreland Road near the railway station on the north side of Moreland Road, and we had found that we'd be walking around, looking for a place with a sign out the front which said room for rent, and usually, according to my mother, the sign would say room for rent, no children. So me being 3 years old, it meant there were difficulties for my parents in finding a room to rent. But lo and behold, one day in Moreland Road, we saw this big double terrace, and it had a sign in the window saying, room for rent, children welcome. It was run by a lovely Italian man who I guess owned the terrace and who loved children. Moreland Road, Syndey Road intersection, in some ways it's very similar, but in other ways it's changed a lot. The old buildings were torn down, new buildings put up. I don't think any of the original buildings are still there, actually. Walking west down Moreland Road from Syndey Road, you come on the south side of the road before the railway line, you come to Cameron Street, and just before Cameron Street there was a row of small shops. I reckon they must have gone back to the 1920s, if not earlier. I think you can still see the architecture of that row of shops today, but they've been completely renovated and changed. 2 of the little shops that I remember, well, one in particular going back to when I was at primary school, so it's the late 1950s, was what we then called a cobbler, a shoemaker and boot repairer. This little shop had an open front and a workbench, and it was so open that when you walked by you could, if you wanted to, have shaken hands with the man, the cobbler, and his wife, who sat there at their workbench, which was virtually on the pavement in the open front of the shop. I'd love to know who they were. He was bald, very dark skin, a dark tanned type of skin. He had a lovely broad smile with white pearly teeth and sparkling eyes. And his wife was very friendly. When I would walk home from primary school, I don't think there was ever a time where they didn't stop me to smile and ask how I was and say hello to my parents and that kind of thing. Also in that small row of shops there was a shop called a lending library, and I used to love going in there. I loved the mustiness of the place. It was run by a woman who just had a wall full of books. It was a small shop, but books everywhere. You could either hire them or borrow them for 5 pence or 10 pence, or you could buy some that were for sale, like second-hand books, and there were boxes in front of the counter full of second-hand comics for sale. I bought my first book in that lending library in Moreland Road. It was Upton Sinclair's Samuel the Seeker, and on the frontispiece it had a biblical quote, "Seek and ye shall find." And I've been seeking ever since, and not sure how much I've found, but hopefully a bit. There's so much more that I could say about that intersection, but for now I'll sign off with more memories of Brunswick to come.